Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the I'm Not Crazy podcast. My name is Chris Longuera.
That's him.
I'm your special co-host, permanent co-host now.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and you are special, brother. I love you.
Of course, welcomed by the man, the researcher, Andrew Venor. We are so happy to be here today.
Thank you. It's so weird being introed. I didn't know what to do, so my brain just gave up. I just started doing anything I could think of.
It's going to be something that we got to get used to. But,
yeah. No, I love it. This is great.
Yeah, no, this is really exciting. Before we get started,
It's banter for like no more than 90 seconds. I wrote that in the script here, guys. I thought it was funny to write it as if we're going to stick to it. We're just going to talk until we feel like it's over.
In other news, I am not injured and my bowel movements are going properly.
They're going properly through his anus and not through his mouth.
Yes.
Unlike me. I'm shitting from my mouth.
Before we get started, everybody, if you could please like, rate, subscribe on all platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Do it now.
YouTube, wherever you listen
Pause
to
this
our podcast.
and do it now. It's
Annihilate the buttons.
Heard it really bad. Heard it a lot.
But anyways, I think we should hop to it. Andrew, what do we got going on today?
Wow, we're only a skip and a hop away, am I right? Boing, boing, boing. We're talking about the Bunny Man.
Exciting.
It's going to be lightning and shit. This honestly, so we're doing the Amelia Earhart series as we spoke about last episode, and that's still happening, and it just keeps getting harder for me to do and longer, and I've had to rewrite it a couple times, so it's taking way more time than I ever thought it would. So this was supposed to be an episode that we were like, hey, this is going to be a nice quick thing. I'm going to write a nice 4.5 page script, almost 7 pages. Here we go. You ready? We're going to talk.
Very excited.
I think that after this is over, and this isn't something that I'm gloating about. This is, I think, more of a fact of how many people don't care about what we're about to talk about. we will be experts in this field. Yeah. I think I have written more here than anyone else ever has written about this topic.
Honestly, genuinely. I feel like that's kind of your goal with this. I feel like you want to be a main source of information.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you recognize my need for attention. Yeah.
No, but you really do a sound job. Like I've never been part of something where you could have a topic that you think, oh, it's going to be, a small little thing, and it becomes so vast with the information.
Yeah, I've surprised myself because before, like I said, this was 4.5 pages, and then I earlier I just looked something up, fell down a rabbit hole, no pun intended, and I blacked out for like 3 hours, and I came out with 2 more pages, and I don't really understand. And there's a lot of murder,
but plenty of murder,
like a lot of fucking murders, and like gruesome murders too, which is pretty cool. We love gruesome murders. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little phlegmy.
No, get it all out of your system.
Last night, I will say, after I was done throwing up, I cleared myself out for a second. There was nothing. There was nothing in my brain, and then it all started coming back, and I was like, ah. But for a hot second, I could breathe. I could swallow.
Right. Still can't walk, though.
No, the vomiting did make my leg kind of hurt because I was in a weird position over the tub. So it is what it is. We're not going to talk about it. I feel like an 80-year-old man. I gotta tell you, I feel like an 80-year-old man. I can't move around my apartment without like breathing heavy because it's such like an actual labor at times. It's like I get like 15 minutes a day where it doesn't hurt, and then all of a sudden it's like no more, and then I just fucking I don't want to talk.
No,
about
it. Honestly, I'll tell a story. When I found out he tore his calf,
yeah.
So it was my birthday, and we were going out to dinner.
Happy birthday, by the way. Everyone on the cruise says happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone fucking clap.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, that's enough.
They just don't understand when to stop. It's fucking ridiculous. Unbelievable.
But anyways, Andrew texts me the morning of and says, "Hey, I got a surprise for you, but it's not accessible via bus. So if you could pick me up, that would be great." And I go, oh, "Okay, I wonder what it could be." I'm thinking, he must have pulled something out of his ass.
I pulled something in my calf.
I shit you not. I'm pulled up at his house, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. 10 minutes at least passed by, and he comes out with crutches underneath his arms. And I'm just looking at him with a puzzled face, and I'm wondering what the hell could have happened to him.
Yeah, I tore my calf slightly.
Yeah. No,
you know how? I squatted and got up too fast. This piece is still in your car.
I couldn't find it. Yeah. Looked everywhere. I really truly say so.
We live in a simulation. It probably just
disappeared.
Pixels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little intro.
Please.
You can see the show's being restructured a little bit. Fucking just deal with it. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. August 1971, Fairfax County, Virginia. You and your best friend are driving around listening to the hit song of the summer, "Take Me Home, Country Roads." It was actually the hit song of the summer. I love that song. To the Place I Belong. West Virginia. This is just Virginia, though.
West Virginia!
This is the other part of Virginia, the one that was, fought on the bad side of history, just saying.
Yeah.
So you're complaining about how you were so close to be mentioned in the song, but you just weren't because you're in Virginia instead of West Virginia. That's what you guys are talking about. And then all of a sudden you approach a tunnel on a road, and your headlights illuminate a figure in the distance. Just then, the radio cuts to an announcer who is announcing the following announcement. This just in, escaped mental patient, loose in Fairfax County. Do not approach, as they are considered armed and dangerous. The patient is described as being 6'2", 300 pounds, and dressed in a full bunny costume. Though this may sound like a joke, please heed my warning. Stay safe out there. You and your friends turn to each other in disbelief. Huh? But after turning back, the figure is gone. The figure in the distance was gone. Read that wrong. You rev the engine. How was that? Was that good?
Yeah, solid.
And you floor it. And speeding your car as fast as you can into the tunnel. But on the other side, the figure could be seen again, this time with his tall bunny ears coming off the figure's head. Before you and your friend could process what's happening, an axe comes flying through your windshield, lands squarely in your friend's skull. You try to escape, but hopping towards you comes this giant rabbit, laughing as he removes the skull and proceeds to make you his next victim. This is the story of the Bunny Man.
Was that eating a carrot?
That's a bunny sound. Yeah, that's what I feel like a giant bunny would sound like. You know, where like a big, like the pig man's like, the bunny man, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm really interested in this.
Good, that's a good start.
Go into this a little further. Where is this stemming from? I need to understand.
So this I made this all up. Okay. This was 100% made up. This isn't a legend. I felt like I had to make it up to represent.
No, you're setting the scene.
Representative of an urban legend.
Okay.
You know, urban, not Irvin.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to give a couple sources because I do have a couple sources for the episode. The first one's a little unfortunate. This is how we got to do it. But the Indian Wizard on YouTube, that is his name. He made probably the most comprehensive video I could find about this legend. He then led me to the Virginia government site, which is written by, there's a guy that we're going to get to in detail later. And then lastly is an article written by Angela H. Eng, because they were very important in me getting to other leads to get to other information. We used the Wayback Machine in this one, folks. We went back to 1999. Get ready. It's getting crazy. All right. So all the sources will be in the description if you are interested, as always. And now it is time to get into the monster. The Bunny Man is an urban legend from Clifton, Virginia. It's really Fairfax County, Virginia, but from my experience, people that are from Fairfax, Virginia are stupid, disloyal,
right?
Just uneducated.
Yeah, I'd never live there.
Yeah, I would never live there. I hate Fairfax, Virginia because of the specific people that own Italian restaurants there. My ex-girlfriend was from Fairfax, and her family owns a restaurant in Fairfax, Virginia. So though mostly considered an urban legend, some may consider Bunny Man a cryptid, and I think those people are wrong.
Yeah, I felt like you would have a problem with that.
I hate that because that's stupid. That's like, is Leatherface a cryptid? No, he's a fucking. What are you talking about, you moron? Get your shit straight.
Honestly, I would love to have a whole episode of you like
getting mad at people.
No, just specifically stating like what defines a cryptid, what it needs to be, and what is not.
Honestly, we could do a cryptid versus urban legend and how they cross over because then like there's Spring Heel Jack right? We did a 2-part episode about him back in the day. I think it was with you, wasn't it? Or was it with Vin? It was with Vin.
Yeah, it was Vin.
Spring Heel Jack is kind of, could be a little bit of both, because, like, depending on certain legends, he's like a little imp creature. But, like, realistically, it's an urban legend. Like, it's the first urban legend. And what's the difference between an urban legend and cryptid? A lot of things.
Right.
You know? I don't know. I'm upset about it. I just feel like people are really not.
No, yeah, I think you could get really passionate about that off the rip.
I could get passionate about a lot of stupid shit for no reason.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, though mostly an urban legend, some consider the Bunnyman to be a cryptid. And again, they are wrong. Since some versions of the story have turned the man wearing a costume into a basic demonic entity that haunts the woods of Clifton, not Fairfax. Fuck you. The entity changes depending on the story, like most good urban legends do. So now with a little build-up, it's time to tell the story of the Bunnyman. So now it's time to get to the legend.
Hell yeah.
You see it, you hear the legend.
The legends.
The legends. Do you know why?
No.
There's 2 major versions of this legend.
That's what I'm here to find out. Let's do it.
There's 2 major versions of this legend. That's the next line that I wrote. Starting with the most notable, the lunatic outlined in a blog post in 1999 by Timothy Forbes. This is considered by most. There are actual historians that have talked about this. I will get to the historians later. I'm not joking. They're like local historians that focus on like Fairfax County, lore and stuff. They consider this to be one of the most instrumental tellings of the story. To one of the reasons why it survived this long. Okay, This is wild. This is a very long story.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay,
let's do it.
The story begins in Clifton, a rural yet fast-growing town, once again in Virginia. As the town began to become more populated, the nearby asylum started to become a problem for the locals. They hated the idea of the criminally insane patients being just up the road, and did what any self-respecting town would do in America, and they complained until it went away. And went away it did. In 1904, the residents of Clifton got their way, and the asylum was apparently officially put on the chopping block. And just as the fall season started, the patients were to be transported to the local Lorton prison. So they were just like, fuck these guys.
So basically, 100 years, nothing's changed.
I guess that's fair. Actually, when you put it that way, it's kind of sad. Everything was going to plan, and the patients were loaded on, among them being Marcus A. Wallstar, and Douglas J. Griffin with 1 F, because it's weird. Everything was going smoothly until the bus driver swerved to avoid something in the road. The bus tipped over and started to roll, killing the bus driver and a few patients, with all the others escaping into the woods. The police scoured the area, but were mostly missing Marcus and Douglas, the 2 that I just named, obviously. There's no other people that I named for a reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason. They're dead.
Okay.
They knew they were in the woods as they had come across a bunch of half-eaten rabbits weeks into the search. And finally, Marcus was found by the Fairfax Bridge. He was laying in the tunnel with a makeshift hatchet in his hand. Ooh. It was like a makeshift hatchet.
Right. Yeah. Like he kind of just built it to survive.
Like a monk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He outsourced the local twine ropes, I guess.
Who was eating the rabbits?
I guess we'll find out soon.
I mean, there's 2 culprits.
Yeah, there's 2, and one of them is dead.
So
he might have been the one eating the rabbits because he might have food poisoning because he was eating them raw. So honestly, Marcus might have been eating the rabbits. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's actually, I think you might have just cracked the case. Holy shit. So the police didn't care about his obvious murder, as Marcus was accounted for, and that was really all that they cared about. That was that. Yeah. Weeks went on, and though authorities were able to find a crazy amount of half-eaten rabbits, Douglas was nowhere to be found. The locals would start to call him the Bunnyman, as Douglas evaded police for months. And on April 7, 1905, the search was finally called off, with many assuming the Bunnyman to be dead. The half-eaten rabbits started to disappear, and the citizens of Clifton went back to their daily life without the thought of Bunnymen until Halloween of that year. For a couple weeks, locals had been once again starting to find half-eaten rabbits in the woods and on their roads. Creeped out, they talked among themselves, out of the obvious. The Bunnyman was back. Does he just have a craving for rabbits, or is he absorbing energy? I'm going to tell you, you're not getting an answer to that question. All right. But what I will tell you is that I think it's yes. I think the answer is yes. And the reason I say that is because technically, everything we eat is to absorb energy. ATP, my friend. When you breathe, it converts something into ATP, which is localized energy.
That makes sense. Okay.
I don't know if it does. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm definitely wrong. I'm not a biologist.
I think ATP is the right term.
ATP is definitely the right term. I can tell you that because I named the song after it.
Yeah.
On Halloween night of 1905, local teens gathered around the same tunnel that Marcos was found just months earlier. The teens partied like it was 1905, with most of them on the way home before midnight. 3 of them stayed behind to chain smoke cigarettes and talk about how the world had never been at war yet. That's a stupid sentence. The details of what happened next would be scarce, as all 3 teens would be murdered with little resistance. All of them had their throats slashed, were cut open and gutted, and left hanging on either side of the tunnel. This time the Bunny Man had made his presence clear, and the town won't forget so easily. After a full year, Halloween was back, and the Bunny Man Bridge had now become a challenge for teens in the area.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, wait, it just never stops. You're going to laugh. It becomes honestly comical after a while. Mm-hmm. Though parents insisted, 8 teens made their way to the bridge to try their fate. This time, 7 of them went into the tunnel, with 1 of them staying behind. That one was Adrian Hatala. She decided to hang back out of fear, terrified that if the Bunny Man showed up, she wouldn't have enough time to get away. And she was right. Mm-hmm. Midnight on the dot, she saw a dim light appear in the distance over the train track. So it's a train track, and the bridge that we're talking about is a train bridge, not a people bridge.
Okay.
You know, trains aren't people.
Right.
And there's a tunnel because it's a bridge.
Okay.
So if there's no tunnel, I guess it would just be a piece of concrete.
Okay.
I think that's the case.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think I just explained what a bridge is conceptually. Right. I don't know why I did that. So this time, 7 of them went into the tunnel, with 1 staying behind. Like I said, it's Adrian Halala. Mm-hmm. Halala.
No, Hatala.
I was close. Hatala. And she is, honestly, you should listen to your instincts if your instincts are telling you not to do something, because just in case you get a supernatural demon killing you. Midnight on the dot, like I said, a dim light appeared in the distance on the train track. As I said, conceptually, now you can understand what a bridge looks like. Adrian recalled seeing the light getting closer and closer until it was just above the entrance of the tunnel. Then within seconds, the light disappeared above here and started flashing in the tunnel, and all she heard were screams. And before she knew it, within seconds, the body was strung up, hanging down, and again, cut open with supernatural speed. Adrian managed to get away as the Bunny Man seemingly stuck to the tunnel. And we're going to get more into that later, actually. Not the train tracks, the tunnel. She was charged with the murders, obviously, and put away in the very prison the Bunny Man had avoided years earlier. This was until 1913, when the exact same thing would happen again, but this time with 9 teens. And Adrian would be acquitted, but already had been long gone and was put in the asylum, where she died in 1953. I'm bad with dates today. Apparently of shock due to a dream of the Bunny Man, which is I feel like that's a real whiff for an ending of a story there.
What did the murder investigation look like?
Well, it's 1905, right? So they went to the area and they went, well, we don't see him, and then they just all kind of went home. There's nothing that you could do, like, genuinely, unless you're the fucking Scotland Yard and you're like using brand new fucking state-of-the-art techniques that still didn't really work most of the time. You're like, well, hopefully his conscience gets to him and he lets us know. You know, yeah. It's a harrowing time to be like not a murderer, to be a murder victim. It's really a bad time for that.
Yeah.
You know, then, not now. Now we have DNA. Now it's kind of hard to get away with killing somebody.
You're pretty much guilty,
you know,
till innocent in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't kill your spouse. Kill someone that you don't know.
Yeah. Then you're good.
Yeah, then you're good. Hell yeah.
How old was she when this happened?
They were like teenage, like high school teenage, so like between like 15 and 18.
So this just broke her, and then
she was just fucked for the rest of her life. Yeah, she just she died in 1953, which if she was 15 when this happened, then she would have been 55? I don't know, maybe like maybe in her early 60s.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear, Adrian.
Yeah, listen, Adrian, you deserved better, but instead you got a supernatural demon. For years to come, teens who were brave enough to stay past midnight will be found dead, slashed, gutted, and hung from the Bunnyman Bridge, with the last taking place in 1943. And finally, the Bunnyman seemed to go back to hell, leaving Clifton alone for almost 30 years.
If I was a teen and I heard that you go to this place, you die. Like, no one survives.
I would be dead.
You'd be,
I'd be dead.
That's fair.
I'd be dead.
I would be like Adrian and probably be in jail for murders I didn't commit.
No, I was I was trying to creep people out by listening to Marilyn Manson loud on the bus. I wasn't,
I know, that's fair.
My voice is crazy. It's so versatile with what I could do.
Yeah. Sex operator? You ever thought of it?
Yeah, every day. Every day after I kill my neighbors and myself. That's a joke that didn't make it in the show, but I'll leave that one in because that's good. After decades of teens coming home safe on Halloween night,
Thank God.
the Bunnyman Bridge became the official spot to freak each other out. Ooh. Everyone would gather to drink and smoke, but always would leave before midnight, as everyone was keenly aware of the past tragedies.
Someone finally figured it out.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, this is so cool. Gotta get the fuck out of here. The Bunnyman had scared the youth well enough until 1976, when 3 teens, for the first time in almost 30 years, would stay past midnight and would be found shortly after, hanging from the bridge, disboweled and bloody. Once again, they've conjured up the Bunnyman. And then, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
This one's nuts. 1987, the last major incident involving the Bunnyman. Jeanette Charlatier. Jeanette Charlatier. I'm terrible with this names.
No, you're doing good.
Terrible with this names.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm going to be hard on myself.
All right.
Jeanette Charlatier and her friends spend most of the night stealing candy from children on Halloween, and then decided to head to the bridge around 11 o'clock with one single mission. Wait until midnight, prove the Bunnyman isn't real, and make it home alive. If they could do that and make it through, they would be the ones to finally put an end to the myth while also adding themselves to it at the same time. They'd be legends. That was their goal.
Right.
And I'm with them.
Yeah.
I want to be a legend.
Yeah, that sounds like something up your alley.
It's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I would be smiling. The Bunnyman's running at me. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. It's either that or like overthrowing the government. It's one or the other. I'm just kidding. All was well until 11:55. 1155. Coincidence? I think it is.
Wow.
All was well until 11:55, where Janet Charlatier had started getting very nervous. For the last hour, the group had to pass time, so they were just freaking each other out. They were jumping out of bushes and going, you fucking, I'm a bunny,
Right.
Just, look, I got an axe,
I'm the Bunnyman.
I'm the Bunnyman, like that. By the time they were under the bridge and in the tunnel, Janet was fucking terrified. She was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. You fucking ruined it. I'm out. And I understand because I've been around people that don't understand what a good scare is, And I get it. It's not for everyone, Janet. I'm with you. But I'm not with you. I would have been with them. She decides that she wants out and makes her way to the tunnel entrance when all of a sudden a bright light blinds everyone and shines behind her. It turned midnight. Janet, who was steps away from the entrance just as the light reappeared, started to see scratches form down her chest. She runs to the entrance, and just before making it out, everything goes black and she passes out. Oh.
What the fuck?
After she woke up, she realized that she made it out of the tunnel, seemingly protecting herself from the reach of the Bunnyman by just getting out of the tunnel. So that seems to be the thing, is if you get out of the vicinity of the tunnel, the fucking guy's he can't do anything, because he's bound.
Yes.
Because he's, a creature of some sort. The scratches on her chest started to sting, but they weren't very deep. They bled, but it was fine. As Janet started to get up, she started to realize how dire the situation actually was. It turns out as she was running out of the tunnel, she got knocked out by one of the hanging bodies of her friends falling on her head. And that's why she got knocked out. And the body just so happened to make her fall forward. out of the tunnel, so it just happened to work out.
Oh.
It's great. She again, no guilt involved in that ever again.
Right.
She again became filled with fear and started to run home, escaping the fate of her friends. She made it home safely, but unfortunately, she was never the same. She could be seen every morning sitting on her porch swing, silently staring, looking in the direction of the bridge. And she was like that until she fucking died. And her hair also turned white. It was a whole thing. And that's the last time the Bunny Man had been conjured successfully.
So she basically... Is it fair to say she kind of survived?
She's the Laurie Strode of the story, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from
What does that mean? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. No, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then
it's
the only reason she made it out is because of just
her friend helped her after death. Yeah, it was a divine intervention.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. Thank you, God, for blessing me with my friend's dead body on my head to
now I'm going to go sit on the porch all day.
Yeah, and praise you by staring in the direction of my killers. Yeah, she would just stare, and then you would ask her, and she would just get wide-eyed and not say anything. It's sad,
yeah.
And I hope that she's okay where she is now, which is she's dead.
Right.
So she's fucking dead.
Honestly, might be better.
I think that we're gonna get to. There's a couple of those in the story that it just might be better just to fucking get killed by him. It seems fast, you know. Though he started as a sick man, he lived on as a supernatural demon, out to protect the very woods that he survived in all those years ago. And just like the Pigman of Angola, go listen to that series. We're going to touch on that again soon, by the way. I got to touch on it again now with all my new fucking skills. He had just transformed into a tulpa, being kept alive by us spreading stories about him and believing in his existence. He's only as real as we make him. You know, it's just like anything else. Right. If you believe in Santa as a kid and you really wholeheartedly believe in Santa, Santa is effectively real to you. That is your reality. It's the same thing with this. It's great. I love that. It's my favorite.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I love you, Santa. Kiss you. So beware of the Bunny Man. For those who don't believe in him, those people tend to be hung at midnight. Ooh. So that's a lunatic theory. Yeah. So now we're going to go right into how true is this legend, because that leads us into the second version of the story, which is a man in a bodysuit terrorizing a community. Okay, how true is this? Well, Timothy, the man that wrote the entire story that I just summarized, and again, please go read his story. It's fantastic. It's well done. It's not well written. It was 1999. It was early internet. It's written honestly pretty bad. I'm going to retract what I just said. Don't go read it. Timothy, begins and ends this legend with a call for anyone to fact check him through the old Clifton Library. And that's exactly what Brian A. Conley, historian archivist at the Fairfax County Public Library, did. He claims the story to be full of holes that make a ton of sense if you just kind of take a step back and think about it for 5 minutes. Here we go. Ready? The asylum never existed.
Damn.
Lorton Prison, where Bunnyman was being transported to, wasn't built until 1910, 6 years later. This one is my own opinion, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right about this. I could be wrong, but I feel like prison buses at the time went very slow and would have needed to swerve out of the way for anything. And even if you swerve at 11 miles an hour, would you flip over? I don't think so. They were going 11 miles an hour tops at that time. Neither of the men who supposedly escaped, Marcus A. Walster and Douglas J. Griffin, seem to have ever existed. And there is no library called the Old Clifton Library, and there never was. It's all bullshit.
So, yeah, this
is all one person made this up and everyone ran with it. Yeah, it's great. That's my favorite.
I mean, it is a pretty compelling story.
Well,
it's enjoyable. Sure.
We got part 2 now, which is a little bit more compelling in like a oh fuck, this is really sad, but also it's still fake type of way.
Yeah.
With that, it's pretty conclusive that the legend itself is made up, though it transcends generations. Brian Conley seems to make the Bunnyman a story that has been around in Fairfax for a pretty long time. It seems like generations of people remember the Bunnyman. It's something that like grandparents tell their kids and stuff like that. It's crazy. The reason is that even though the details of the stories change, the murders behind it seem to be the factual part of the story to a lot of people.
Right.
But how factual are the actual murders? Realistically,
right.
if there is just the case of a bunch of kids getting killed at the bridge and it just over time became exaggerated, the facts of it are still there.
Yeah.
That is still a dangerous bridge to go to because you will get murdered by the Bunny Man.
The tunnel in the bridge was a legit location?
It is, yeah. You could go there.
Yeah.
It's known as Bunny Man Bridge. It's like a local thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously... people probably aren't getting hung in record speeds. So.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were. You never know. This might be where the fucking records get broken. You know, Fairfax County is where you can hang up the most teens. You know,
they test it out every Halloween.
They're like, go! It's like, oh, you know.
It's like the what's the game with the cups?
It's like
Yeah, and slap the time.
Cup staffing,
Yeah.
slapping, stacking,
Yeah,
stacking.
stack something.
Stack up. So how factual were the murders, Chris? How factual do you think the murders are going to be?
I'm gonna say like good 15% factual.
15% factual. Well, buckle up because we're about to get into 3 fucking brutal murders. Like brutal, like to the point that I questioned whether or not I should put this on.
Wow.
And we are pushing boundaries this episode.
I was gonna say from you, that's gotta be crazy.
It's pretty. Well, you know how protective I am when it comes to like murder on the show.
Yeah.
But the soonest of these cases was 1947, so I think we're okay to talk about it.
Okay.
But it's grisly. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So Brian Conley, just to make it totally clear, he did all of the heavy lifting. So please go and read his article for more detail. And unlike fucking the fraud Timothy, go read Brian Conley's emails. Not his email, his article. I'm broken tonight. Basically, Brian used the local archives and his computer database to search all murders reported in the papers between 1872 and 1973. He did 101 years of every time that murder was mentioned in a paper. He then got the 555 plus results and then updated that search to include multiple murders including minors. And luckily, he was left with 3 results.
I respect Mr. Conley's process.
I respect Mr.
Really
Conley's process too. It took him 8 years.
Sure. Yeah.
This man spent like a decade of his life so that me and you could laugh for an hour. You know, it's like putting it in context is really interesting sometimes.
We thank you so much, Mr.
Brian is one of the people that I respect that amount of research and investigation so much. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be Brian. Okay. We're going to get into the first child that gets murdered here. Francis and June Holber. This may be one of the most unhinged sentences in the show's history. You ready? You ready for this? In 1949, 37-year-old Frances Holber and her 8-month-old daughter, June, were traveling from Washington, D.C. to Fairfax County to visit her estranged husband at his nudist camp.
What the fuck?
After seeing the lodge at the nudist camp, they left and started driving down the road where the car would get stuck in mud.
Oh, no.
After arguing, Frances took June and stormed off, started walking down the road to try to get help, while her husband, Charles, slept in the car overnight. They were never seen again alive. Charles was fine. He slept in a car.
Right.
The other 2 were never seen alive. Charles went to the police, and the investigation started. It went on all day, and just as those were about to give up at night, it was like 5 p.m., they realized that the ground they were standing on was surprisingly soft. And this is 100% true fact. This is so fucked. It's just then that they realized they were standing on the shallow graves. There was an inch of dirt. They were standing on Francis and June. And Francis had been beaten and shot. And what's more horrifying is that the baby, the 8-month-old, was just buried alive. And I feel like when we get it, it makes it so much worse because it's like you're just prolonging suffering because you're just an animal. Just disgusting.
That's really disgusting.
Yeah. They were found 200 yards away from where Charles slept for the night. And surprise, Charles was considered the prime suspect. Charles definitely fucking killed them. And it makes it worse that he wouldn't just kill his child and end the suffering at the very least.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it better, but it almost makes it better. It's fucked.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, no, that's
damn.
like evil of evil. Oh, my goodness.
So Charles was considered the prime suspect, not subject, and eventually admitted to the ruthless murder of his family. Also, he could presumably live in a nudist camp. That's 100% the reason why, because he wanted to live in the nudist camp full time. It's not funny, but it's funny at the same time. It's
like
so absurd.
Oh my god! Like that's the reason people have to die, man.
Yeah, those are the people that live in nudist camps. That's why you don't live in a fucking nudist camp. He was originally sentenced to death by the electric chair, but with his lawyers successfully appealed and was deemed insane in a retrial. And instead, they sentenced him to the rest of his life in Western State Mental Hospital. In 1947, I would have taken the electric chair. Imagine you go to a hospital at the turn of the 1950s. You're in a mental hospital the entire. Oh, fuck that. No, fuck that.
That's a disaster.
Oh, you're lobotomized and you get an electric shock. Those are the two things that are going to happen to you. Almost 100%. It's fucked up.
100%.
So that's case number 1. 2 more. You ready?
Yeah.
Take a breath. They only get worse. I put them in progressive order.
Jesus Christ. You said that was the most ridiculous sentence. How much worse can it get?
I said it's the most ridiculous sentence. I didn't say it was the most brutal murder.
Oh, boy.
Those are 2 very different categories, my friend.
Charles the nudist.
Charles the nudist. Well, we're about to go to fucking Lewis the rapist. You ready?
Oh, no.
Loretta and Catherine Ridgway. On the morning of March 4th, really close to my birthday, 1927, a man called the Ridgway home, being answered by Minnie Ridgway. He asked to speak to her husband when she let him know that he had already left for work. The man hung up, and though abrupt, Minnie thought nothing of it. Sometime later, the same man, Louis Borsig, would break in and beat Minnie unconscious. He then did the same to her children, Loretta and Catherine, 7 and 5. He then stole money and valuables and left the house. Minnie managed to live, and both of the kids died within days. Really fucked up.
Oh, my God.
She eventually testified against Lewis, and he was eventually sentenced to death, which was carried out by electric chair to completion just 3 months later.
Good.
Fuck that man.
Sayonara.
He did other things. We're not going to, you could use your imagination from the words I said earlier. Okay, ready? Number 3. This is the worst one by far. Ava Roy was a 14-year-old daughter of Peter Roy, a prominent ranch owner in Fairfax area. One night after Eva hadn't returned home, Peter and his neighbors set out to look for her. At about the 24-hour mark, she was found, and the brutality of the crime was immediately visible. You ready?
Yeah.
She was severely beaten, tied to a tree, and strangled to death with her own clothing. I don't mean to laugh, but it's God. I know how you're taking it. Investigators determined that she was also brutally assaulted before her murder. Again, grapes. The public was outraged and demanded justice.
You're a piece of shit.
But the local police exhausted all of their effort. The police couldn't figure out who it was. They tried everything again. They went to the scene and the guy wasn't there, so they did everything they could.
Oh, whatever.
Nope. He's got.
Close that one up.
This was until an escaped inmate named Ben Rubin confessed to the crime while being taken back to a prison in Washington, D.C. for assaulting another young girl in Washington, D.C. He confessed to this crime. After a bunch more back and forth, they ended up taking him to Lorton Prison, right? Yeah. And the only reason that he wanted to go to Lorton Prison, it turns out he lied about killing this girl. He just wanted to go there because he knew it would be easier to escape from that prison than the one he was going to go to.
Wow. That's some dark shit.
And you know what's crazy is he escaped from the fucking prison. And then he murdered someone else and then went back in, escaped from that prison, got caught for robbery. He should have just been a professional escape artist. He was a terrible criminal, but he was really good at getting out of being held accountable for his crimes. It's crazy.
He
would have made such a better magician at the time.
Yeah, as terrible as that is, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. No killer was ever charged. No one was ever found for it.
That's fucking crazy. Oh my God.
Now, in these stories, we mentioned the guy was put into the mental asylum.
Right.
We mentioned Lorton Prison. Mm-hmm. We mentioned, being criminals escaping and all that shit.
Yeah. Sounds like we got like little elements, right?
Exactly. I believe that these helped influence the story 110%, but not in the way that you may think of it now because you don't have all the information just yet. There's more coming.
Okay. Yeah.
These murders are awful and disgusting, but they don't contain the Bunny Man, right?
Yeah, where is that?
Where was the Bunny Man
Where is that
all that?
hairy bastard?
So where did this fucking story come from?
I really have no idea. I'm interested, though.
So this is the breakthrough.
Okay.
Well, Brian Conley kept up his research even after the murders turned up nothing. And after 8 years of searching, he finally found an article from the year 2000, which interviewed a bunch of people talking about urban legends in the Fairfax area. There was 33 children, and they talked about things, and one of them was given information by her grandmother, who then was interviewed, and that was all in this like article research paper.
Okay.
Brian found the headline, and the headline read, "Man in bunny suit sought in Fairfax." You ready for this? The article reads as follows. This is such a good find. Fairfax County Police said yesterday that they are looking for a man who likes to wear white bunny rabbit costume and throw hatchets through cars' windows. Air Force Academy cadet Robert Bennett told police that shortly after midnight last Sunday, he and his fiancée were sitting in a car on the 1500 block of Guinea Road when a man dressed in a white bunny suit with long rabbit ears ran from the nearby bushes and shouted, "You're on private property and I have your tag number." The rabbit threw a wooden handled hatchet through the front right car window, the first-year cadet told police. As soon as he threw the hatchet, the rabbit skipped off into the night, police said. Bennett and his fiancée were not injured, thank Christ. Police say that they have the hatchet, but they have no other clues. Again, the guy just wasn't there when they showed up.
This is easily the most evasive monster that we've spoken about.
This is a man in a bunny suit.
Right.
This is a fucking psychotic man in a bunny suit that's bored. This is a drunk man in a bunny suit. No,
Get off my property.
This here, this is where exaggeration happens, because this happened. 110% this happened.
Yeah,
and this is great, because it's then followed up with, you ready? The next article, the rabbit reappears. A man wearing a funny rabbit suit with 2 long ears appeared, again, on Guinea Road in Fairfax County Thursday night, police reported, this time wielding an axe and chopping away at a roof support on a new house. Less than 2 weeks ago, a man wearing what was described as a rabbit suit accused 2 persons in a parked car of trespassing, and he heaved a hatchet through the closed window of the car. They were not hurt. Thursday night's rabbit, wearing a suit described as gray, black, and white, was spotted a block away at 5307, very close, Guinea Road. Paul Phillips, a private security guard for a construction company, said he saw the rabbit standing on the front porch of a new but unoccupied house. I started talking to him, Phillips said, and that's when he started chopping. All the people trespassing around here, Phillips said, the rabbit told him he whacked 8 gashes into the pole. If you don't get out here, I'm gonna bust you on the head. This is fucking stupid. Phillips said he walked back down to his car to get his handgun, but the rabbit carrying the long axe ran off into the woods. The security guard said the man was about 5'8", 160 pounds, and appeared to be in his early 20s. How would you know that? He was wearing a rabbit costume.
One thing that I got from this guy would be an excellent troll.
It's so funny.
If he was born 40 years later, he'd probably be an amazing Reddit moderator.
I was thinking he would be a great clown. Remember when there was clowns randomly showing up in Staten Island for a while?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. This is just that, but a little bit more unhinged.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not a marketing scheme for a movie. It's just
this guy's really trying to
this guy's fucking trying to collapse a roof of a brand new home. It's wild. So though the first incident, the first article, could not have been found in police records, the second one could. And there was an official report of police being dispatched to deal with a man in a bunny suit chopping someone's roof off with a long handle axe.
Okay.
The man was never caught, but
Shocker.
they never written anything about that again. So I guess I don't know.
They just couldn't find this guy.
No.
Unbelievable.
No.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
Okay.
So in conclusion, I, as well as most other people who went down this rabbit hole, and I've read all 6 of the other people that are interested in this, believe that those 1970s articles to be the origin of the story, while the other 3 murders helped to retroactively change the details. So I think that those 3 murders didn't influence shit. I think that this started the legend, and then the details of those murders then bled in.
Yeah.
Because they were so long before that it just doesn't make sense that they would have contributed.
That makes sense, yeah.
And I feel like that is the least likely part of my theory. I will say that. Is that those influence. They may have not influenced whatsoever, and it's just those things have just always been around. I don't know. But I just think it's interesting that an asylum that didn't exist is in both of the... in all the stories, and then there's an asylum that's really close that's mentioned in one of the murders. I don't know. I just feel like it has to do with something. What do you think of the Bunny Man?
Honestly, the legend is really compelling.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would love to hear, like, if I was a kid. Like, because that would scare the shit out of me.
It's a good, like, campfire story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good for, I'm going camping, and I want to ruin the night for everyone else story.
Yeah. This just seemed like a very bored man, and... he somehow got away with all the dumb shit he was doing.
And then he became a demon, according to people's stories.
Yep. Scratching people's chests and, hanging them in record speeds.
Records for 5 seconds. He killed like 7 people and hung them up on a bridge.
The Guinness Book of World Records would be.
It was a golf clap after it was done. Everybody just, wow, that's crazy.
Impressive.
Yeah. Really unbelievable.
But, this was a fun one.
I'm happy I got to this because this has been on my list for since the beginning of this podcast. This is one of the original stories I wanted to cover, and it only took 31 episodes. Look at that.
I kind of want someone now. I hope someone in Fairfax hears this and dresses up in a bunny suit and they
and comes and haunts my house. I'll send you my address. Yeah, if you want.
They didn't have to come here. They could,
No,
Fairfax,
forget it. Yes, no, stay in Fairfax. Yeah, I'll send you my address. If you're from Fairfax and you know of this story and there's details that the versions I found are different than what you heard, let us know. Write in. If it's compelling enough, I'll record it and I'll save it for an episode later because I wanted to do that for a long time, but no one ever sends me shit. So maybe you could be the one. I'm fucking begging you. Send me something. Yeah. Please.
Send
interact.
an email, drop a comment. Drop a comment on the YouTube video.
Write it. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me.
That was a lot of fun.
For this story.
You had me fooled, honestly.
I did, yeah. I wrote it to fool you because I wanted to scare you for quite a bit. I feel like you're still going to be creeped out on the way home.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Look in the rearview mirror because from what I know of, rabbits are very good at hiding in other mirrors. So keep that close to you.
I'm going to see fucking Bugs Bunny in my fucking rearview mirror.
What's up, Doc? And you go, oh, no. So that's the Bunny Man. So thank you so much. Be careful because since we know it's not real now, it's a cold night tonight. Maybe make your way over to Bunny Man Bridge. It's after midnight, And if you do, maybe you should try to prove the Bunny Man's not real, because
prove it.
Because if you're you could be a legend.
Live stream it.
Live stream it. Yeah.
These are not things they had 100 years ago.
That is solid. I think that there's a reason why this stopped in 1987.
Yeah.
It was the bite of 87. It's FNAF.
Fuck you.
Thank you, YouTube.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate it. We got some really good stuff coming on the way.
And we got some Scarface merch coming.
Yep.
Money, power, respect. That's us.
Money, power, respect.
We do cocaine. We love cocaine, and we love to make piles of cocaine and shoot people with automatic weapons. This is America.
More like bunny power, respect.
Bunny power, respect. Oh, shit. More like bunny power, respect.
Al Pacino and his
For all the audio listeners, Chris is wearing some of our new merch. It's Scarface. Go check it out. We made a Scarface shirt. Just Google Scarface shirt. It'll pop up.
Al Pacino's coming on the show next week.
Yeah, Al Pacino's going to come on the show next week. Yeah, we're going to talk about that movie he was in with Keanu Reeves, where Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor. I don't care what anybody says. He's a horrible actor. Nice guy. I wish everybody was as nice as him, but there's a reason why his acting isn't very good. It's because he's not a fucking weirdo, and he is kind of a weirdo, though. I don't know, man. I like Keanu Reeves.
Him in The Matrix. Yeah. John Wick, he's kind of garbage.
John Wick, and he doesn't need to be an actor in the
right.
movie. He's just the things that he's doing in the movie that are impressive. He's actually doing. Right. The acting is atrocious.
Exactly.
It's the best part is what's the movie that he did with fucking. It's him and Al Pacino. It's the Devil movie where the Devil's Advocate.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He is laughable in that. I don't give a fuck what anybody. He is horrible in that movie. Horrible. Good guy though. He takes the train like everybody else. He's a normal guy. All right.
But
wrap this fucking thing up.
And then in January, it's the big month.
January is the big month.
Why?
Honestly, I'm kind of nervous to take flight with Amelia. I'm kind of nervous about it.
This is going to be such an excellent project.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear about
Her
Amelia's
family. 'Cause
life.
that's going to be the first episode.
Amelia's family. Everything about this woman. Hopefully we hear a lot of theories on, what actually happened.
It is a lot of information, so get your notebooks out, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to take notes, and I hope that you're okay with writing things down. You're going to work. I'm going to set up homework assignments.
Mm-hmm.
You could sign into Blackboard. This is now an online class.
Yes. That'll...
Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's everything. Yeah,
Cool.
I got you.
But genuinely, everyone, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much.
Let's get some fucking dumplings.
for listening.
We're getting dumplings? What are we going to get?
Could potentially get dumplings.
We're going to get some food.
Yeah, we're definitely going to eat.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to
All
think
right,
about that one.
We're going to
Hold
talk about that in a little bit. All right, guys? I love you.
I
Make
love
sure
you back.
If you come across a bridge, make sure that you look for the bunny man. And if you do, run, because he's really good at hanging things up on the bridge. He's probably really good if you need help putting things up on a tree. He's probably good at hanging up ornaments real fast.
Yeah, definitely impressive.
Guinness Book of World Records wasn't there, though, so it doesn't count.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys. See you when the bunny man hops.